Bien, amigas y amigos, estamos aquí otra vez en un nuevo vídeo informativo. Este es mi canal, ya te puedes suscribir ahora más tarde o cuando quieras. Y en el día de hoy tenemos una gran entrevista con María Corina Machado desde el canal Fox News. Sin más preámbulos, no te lo pierdas, ahí te la dejo.
The world's largest and most advanced aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, is now moving in the waters off the Caribbean, intensifying the administration's maximum pressure campaign on drug cartels and the Maduro regime in Venezuela.
Lucas Tomlinson is live in Port of Spain in Trinidad with the details. Hey, Lucas.
Good morning, Charlie, Rachel, and Griff. The FAA now issuing a new warning to airliners to exercise caution while flying over Venezuela, which is just 7 miles away, guys, and the southern Caribbean after F-18 strike fighters from the USS Gerald Ford were seen flying off the coast of Venezuela. And President Trump says he wants to talk to Venezuela's leader, Nicolás Maduro, very soon.
I can't tell you what I'm going to tell them, but I have something very specific to say. We're going to be very much involved, and I'll be speaking to them in the not-too-distant future.
Now, here in the Caribbean, the show of force continues. Fifth-generation Marine Corps F-35 Bravo stealth fighter jets launching from the island of Puerto Rico. Late this week, a pair of B-52 bombers from Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota flew an attack demonstration flight off the coast of Venezuela, refueling here, as you can see, from a KC-135. 20% of all deployed U.S. warships are here in the Caribbean. The vanguard of this now named Operation Southern Spear, as you mentioned, Charlie, the USS Gerald R. Ford with 4 squadrons of F-18 Super Hornets aboard. There are now over 200 Tomahawk cruise missiles in theater with the addition of the destroyers in the Ford Strike Group, ready to fire at predetermined targets inside Venezuela. President Trump's former special envoy for Venezuela, Elliot Abrams, told me he thinks combat could last 3 to 4 days, not weeks, to oust Maduro if ordered.
We're going to have to do some kind of military strikes in Venezuela to persuade the regime and to persuade the army. It's time for a change. He's got to go now.
Now, today marked the end of a week-long training exercise involving U.S. Marines here on the island of Trinidad, located just 7 miles from Venezuela. Those Marines have now returned to their warships. They're now on alert, ready to go shore in Venezuela should the order come from the commander-in-chief, guys.
All right, Lucas Tomlinson live for us in the Port of Spain. Lucas, thank you.
Thanks, Lucas.
In a Fox and Friends TV exclusive, I spoke with Venezuelan opposition leader María Corina Machado this week. Listen to what she told me about President Trump's unprecedented action in Venezuela. So there, as you know, as you very well know, there is a U.S. Armada off the coast of Venezuela. There is still that $50 million bounty for Maduro's capture. That's still in effect. Maduro's ally, Putin, has bigger problems. He's not really there for him. He's not able to help him. So I can imagine that at this moment, Maduro is feeling like a caged animal. How is his mental state right now impacting Venezuelans that are living inside the country right now?
Well, I believe that finally they have understand that this is serious, that this has no turn back. And in his own interest, he has, the chance to go now. But certainly inside the regime, they are totally fractured. They do not trust each other. And you're seeing defections and more individuals, civilians and military in the Maduro entourage reaching out to us because they want to be part of an orderly transition and save themselves. So this is about saving lives, millions of lives. And that's what we're going to have. But we're going to do what's going to happen.
So President Trump recently has said that he's willing to speak with Maduro.
We may be having some discussions with Maduro, and we'll see how that turns out.
What do you think about this? Is this a good idea?
I completely trust the strategy President Trump is developing, and his Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. They know very well with whom they're dealing with. This is not a legitimate president. This is the head of a criminal structure that was already defeated in a presidential election by landslide. So they know how to deal with these kind of individuals that are criminals, narco-terrorists. And I believe that Maduro will get a very clear picture of what are his options and what's the future for Venezuela.
Well, President Trump has not ruled out military action inside of Venezuela in order to eradicate these cartels. Do you believe that may ultimately be necessary?
I believe that the situation of increased pressure has finally made the regime understand that this is their last option. And certainly Maduro has the possibility to stop this process right away if he understands that his time is over and the will of the Venezuelan people will be respected, because it's important to understand. I mean, the regime change was already mandated by the Venezuelan people by landslide, and our country is closer and more determined than ever to have that will respected.
What would be your message to Americans who are worried that this could become another costly foreign entanglement for them?
I believe it's exactly the contrary. Maduro started this war. President Trump is ending this war. A transition to democracy in Venezuela will make the Americas, including the United States, safer, more secure, and more prosperous. Because Venezuela, our country, has been turned into that safe haven for all those enemies, forces that want to undermine the institutions of the United States and also kill people in Venezuela and in your country. So we are solving and dismantling a criminal structure that has produced great pain and turned our country, our nation, into the best ally of the United States, a security shield for the Americas, and a huge opportunity for energy security as well. And one thing very important, Rachel, millions of Venezuelan migrants will come back home the day Maduro goes.
Do you have a message for Pete Hegseth, our Secretary of War?
I want to send him and every single American citizen this message. I want you to be assured that we, the Venezuelan people, are good, hardworking, family-loving, freedom-loving society. This is a cohesive society, unlike in other regions. We do not have religious, racial, social tensions. This is a country that is united around the values of human dignity, justice, responsibility, and freedom. And we are going to be sure that this transition to democracy is not only orderly and peaceful, but turns Venezuela into the main security ally of the United States in the region.
She's an incredibly brave woman, and obviously you have been on the forefront of this story more than any other reporter in the United States, or probably in the world, in the free world, pushing this story. We wouldn't be talking about any of this if it were not for President Trump.
And she recognizes that. And that's why when I asked her, you know, are you worried that President Trump says he wants to talk to Maduro? She's like, I don't question his strategy. I know this guy's onto something. And things are really heating up. It's not just the military presence, that phone call, but also Maduro is losing his allies. You know, Russia's got their own problems going on with what's going on in Ukraine. And his best friend in Latin America, he's friends with Sheinbaum, but his best friend is Petro, the Colombian president who's right next door to him. And just in the last couple days, Petro said, well, maybe he should go if you can guarantee that he can, you know, get a safe haven outside of the country. So now the walls are really closing, which is proof that the Venezuelan military and the cartels work together. They're one and the same in this criminal network. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned. I think something big might happen before the end of the year.
Great interview.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.